All right.
Sweet.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a very special episode today. We have Alex and Nick from AI Tycoons. They are a partnered marketing service partnered here with ROOFLE. They have worked with a couple of our customers in the past. We share many, many customers, probably some of you that are on the call today. And we wanted to bring them in to talk specifically about their marketing strategy, give kind of an overview of digital marketing as it stands today. So try to get a high level view of what to expect in the digital marketing space. If you're not necessarily familiar with it, or if you're starting to get into it and you're just trying to kind of find your sea legs, so to speak, these are the perfect guys to have at your disposal. So we're going to bring them in. We're going to talk about the process. We're going to talk about how our services combine well. And hopefully we'll generate some pretty good conversation. And of course, there will be a Q&A at the end. So throw your questions in throughout, and we will be addressing those towards the end. As we get started right off the top, Alex, do you mind giving me a little bit of background on yourself?
Sure. So my name is Alex. I've been in roofing and restoration game for last 17 years. We've been a big company. We've been a small company. Right now we are in 2 states. And Nick is my partner. We've been doing our own marketing so well that we decided to go ahead and take it to the masses and help out the fellow roofers out there to do that.
That's perfect. Roofing marketing by roofers. I love it. And Nick, can you give me a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, so I, spent 7 years in the corporate world doing everything from temp to hire when I started traveling the country from a corporate office for a Fortune 500 company. Really learned CRM systems, and from there pivoted into entrepreneurship and marketing, and said, a lot of small companies need help with lead generation, and so Alex and I have worked diligently on that in Excel Exteriors for several years, and we said, like Alex mentioned, that there's a lot of roofers out here who really struggle with this, and we have a service that helps. So we've got an onboarding team and really are helping roofers and solar companies and home service companies day in and day out with AI Tycoons to set up these systems. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much for that background. And I know you guys have prepared some lovely slides that we're going to get into to speak specifically to the role of AI in digital marketing and especially in roofing lead generation. Before we dive into that, I did want to get you to speak a little bit on just the state of digital marketing right now, and more specifically your leads. So can you give me an overall overview of kind of quality, exclusivity, conversion rate, and cost of acquisition of y'all's leads, so I can just give everybody a general idea of the subject before we dive into the AI perspective?
definitely. And a lot of things that roofers are struggling with right now is all the lead sources that used to be really reliable have really gone downhill in the last 5 years or so. Angie's List, Home Advisor used to be very reliable for contractors. Now they're publicly traded. There's a lot going on. Those leads aren't as reliable as they used to be. There's lawsuits going on. And it's really hard to get exclusive leads. As roofers, we've had, dozens of marketing companies, hundreds of marketing companies, say, hey, we can get you different leads, different this and that. But are they exclusive? Is your brand being presented? And if you don't have that type of strategy, it's really hard to sell a retail job when a company hasn't even been presented to the homeowner before. So, Alex, you have anything to add to that?
No, just that you hit it right on. So from roofer perspective, it's hard to find a company who was actually doing what they were promising. The sales pitch was great, delivery was horrible, and the lead was horrible as well. Even though they did really well at the beginning, in the middle of the process, they were just flicking off. So usually it was the money grab and disappearing act. That's it. So
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we built funnels around consistency for ourselves and said, how do we use AI systems to do that? So that's where we started, and that's what we bring to the market today.
Okay, so we're kind of seeing a trend that the traditional avenues that we had trusted for a while are just starting to break down. I mean, everything has a lifespan, right? Things will eventually expire. I've been hearing that. We hear it with contractors all the time. Angie's List is not providing quality leads anymore. Facebook is even starting to get questionable in some parts of the country, I've been hearing. So it's something that you kind of have to stay on the cutting edge if you're going to continue to get quality leads. and leads that you can really rely on. And you have to be ready to pivot. You have to be ready to try out new resources and to go down these new avenues, because we're in a changing world. We're in an ever-changing environment. So staying on that cutting edge is pivotal. So without further ado, I want to let you jump into this sequence and go ahead and take it away. I see we've got an agenda. We've got those 3 keys to AI readiness: social media pixels, website compliance, and integrated software. So take it away. What do we got?
Excellent. Yeah, we'll dive into this, and if all you roofers can allow me to just jump into some technicals for a few minutes, because if you haven't been exposed to this, you aren't really going to be set up for success for what's coming with AI. So Alex and I sat down and said, what are the 3 things that we think every roofer should know right now to set you up for success? And so we're just going to go through those pretty quickly here, but give you the framework that you're going to need for these AI systems and these, consistent lead gen systems in your business, regardless of where you're getting the leads from.
Perfect. All right. Courtney, can you give us to the next slide?
So the first key we're going to jump into here is social media pixels. And in regards to social media pixels, what we're looking for, if you have not heard that term before, or you're not familiar exactly what it is, it's code that gets installed to your website. Facebook has one. TikTok has a very similar one. There are other platforms out there that offer them. We actually have a tool. We can check your website, look and see if you have one installed now. But the most important thing is, if you don't have them installed, you're really losing out on a couple things, which is letting the algorithms that run these advertising companies identify your industry so that they can figure out, 1, you're a roofing company, and 2, that what is your ideal client? Who is coming to your website? So I sit down with a lot of roofers who say, hey, we're spending, $8,000, $10,000 a month or more on SEO and PPC campaigns. And I said, well, do you have any retargeting set up? And they'll say no. And I can look at their website. I see there's no pixels installed. Well, what happens there is we can't retarget those visitors very easily, right? So if we get these pixels in, we can retarget, or the marketer you work with can retarget your web visitors, so you don't have to pay to go acquire them again with as much spend. So if you're paying $100 a click, but I can retarget at $1 a click, right? You can see where it's beneficial to keep your brand in front of people already looking to do business with you.
Okay, so you're basically capitalizing on what we see every day, and you open up Instagram, you open up TikTok, open up anything on your phone, and you'll notice that I talked about needing some new curtains for my living room a couple of days ago, and I'm seeing an ad for new curtains. So we're trying to tap into that with these pixels. Am I on the right track with that?
Correct. And there's a lot deeper approaches here. This is very high level. Certainly we can target them with different creatives at different levels of the sale process. So we can have different videos. If someone's already got a quote, we can send them certain videos around, the jobs you do and testimonials of customers. So it gets very advanced, but this is just a high level. That's a great overview, Justice, of what we do.
Gotcha. Excellent. Very powerful. Next slide, if you don't mind, Court.
All right. And key number 2 today is website compliance. This will probably be the most technical. And why compliance matters. A few reasons from an AI perspective and what these AI solutions are that are coming out now and will be coming out. There's 2 areas of focus here. So the first is when we set up AI automated SMS campaigns, right? So a lead comes to your website, a lead comes to social media, they're giving their details. We want to be able to send them an introduction text message immediately. And those are systems we set up every day. But what a lot of roofers don't know is that there's different things that need to be put in place for compliance reasons. So there's some rules out there that you'll hear the term A2P thrown around. This refers to the compliance with phone networks, where you send in the campaigns that you're going to be texting, like, hey, this is roofing company ABC. Nice to meet you. Say yes to confirm your quote. We need to send those into the carriers to get approval, and there's a few things they ask for. We'll go over that on the next slide. But the second point here is to be able to text, call, or automate lead contacts with AI systems, we need to know what your compliance date is and the opt-in status records are on file. So we can do work with your prior leads, but we want to know, when did your opt-in start cleanly? And this is part of what every business owner should be aware of for AI systems that are coming.
So basically, there are rules and regulations about what you can and cannot send as an automated text message to a consumer who doesn't have any signed contract, who's just come in and provided contact information. There's limitations, and you have to basically prove that you're not going to go spamming people and you're not going to go blowing up their phone, that you are following the practice of, you're a roofing contractor, you're going to send material related to roofing, correct?
More or less, absolutely. That's the gist of it. Yep.
Awesome. Yep. There's just rules and regulations about everything.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else to jump in on this?
Next slide. Yeah. So just kind of a quick checklist of what to look for, and I'll show you an example on our next slide here. But we want to ensure you have a privacy policy on your website that's compliant and active, that you're hosting a terms and conditions page, that there's an opt-in consent on all your web forms. So anywhere you have a contact us or request a quote, we want to make sure that you're getting that you're showing the proper consent in that opt-in, and then again keeping that record of your compliant date. So once your marketer or web developer puts this in place, knowing that that's your grandfathered date essentially, and that everything going forward is in this new compliant model.
Excellent.
And so if you guys are wondering, where to get some terms, if you don't have a privacy policy or terms and conditions today, Termly is a great one. There's other ones out there that are free that you can toy around with. We just like Termly because it's got a good question and answer, and it'll help you get the exact terms that you need for your business. And so we've just kind of put a screenshot of a simple web form here of what that's going to look like. So this is one that's actually in production with one of our customers, and you can see the checkbox at the bottom of the page that says, and you guys have probably seen this hundreds of times when you're navigating the web, but if your roofing website doesn't have this now, I would urge you to get these two pieces in place, which is that consent box that says, by submitting, I consent to the terms below, and to contact by calls, text, email, social, AI systems. We're putting that terminology in there as well. And then including that in your privacy policy, that these people will be contacted by you through these systems, and then the hyperlinks to those policies that are hosted on your page.
Excellent.
All right. And then finally, key number 3 is integrated software. So what does this look like at a high level, and what is AI doing right now? And what are we able to do, right? So when we come into a roofing business and we set up these systems, and we set up all that compliance, we set up all those forms and flows for you, we typically sit down and identify, okay, how many retail or storm leads are you looking for right now? We'll go out to various channels to go get them. If you're running them already, we'll continue to get more, like I said, with those retargeting campaigns. And these are when we say leads, we're saying name, email, phone number, home address, and somebody that in a retail scenario, somebody that's saying, I want a retail quote, right? They're raising their hand around a quote request. So we'll typically start off generating an additional 50 to 200 leads a month for roofing companies. And that will depend on your market. Obviously, if you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, it's going to be harder to get 200 leads than if you're in Los Angeles or Miami or something like that. But we can look at the different strategies and identify what can we bring to your business now, or your current marketing campaigns. You can start incorporating these AI systems and methodologies into your business. So from there, we want to take those leads and get as many of the retail leads as we can into an AI-powered measurement software. So ROOFLE, a great example of that. And what we see as a target, just to give you an idea, if you have, let's say, 100 website visitors, maybe one of them is going to go to ROOFLE, 2 of them, maybe more, right? But there's going to be a limit. When we're bringing these leads in, we're using our funnels and our AI and our follow-ups to say, go complete the ROOFLE estimate software and get your instant estimate first. Starts eliminating some of the tire kickers. People can go in there and request more information. And you'll know that this is a lead who's really serious about getting a retail roof done. And you'll see our target says 20 to 40% of leads. Now, I just want to speak to that really quickly. We could get 100% of leads. We could just keep continuing and say, okay, we want to keep messaging them until they all go through ROOFLE, right? But what we found is, and some companies are completely okay getting rid of what I call basic leads. They're just like, I just want the ROOFLE ones. Those are the ones I want to work with. And so if we get you 100 leads, we expect, 25, 30, 40, 50 of those leads to go through ROOFLE per month. And we have data to show you to back that up. That is our usual metric in these campaigns. But we start triaging those leads. So your sales staff, if you're providing them to your sales team, you'll be able to more or less give them the hot ones first, and then once they've worked the hot ones, give them the basic ones to follow that have not filled out a ROOFLE form yet. And then finally, again, we want to get everyone into those automated follow-ups, and our target is, hey, everyone that comes in, we want to hit them with automated text, emails, and phone calls from AI systems.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically working on a funnel of bring the leads in. Obviously, the ones who go through a ROOFLE, get an instant quote, and request more information are going to be your hottest. They have given you all their information. They said that they want somebody to come. They came out and they gave you an instant quote. They have their ballpark price, and they still want somebody to come out. So you've knocked out. They have found you. They trust you enough to get their instant quote. They trust that price. They're comfortable enough with the price that they still want to continue the conversation. So by the time you show up to them, that's the hottest lead that you're going to get. Otherwise, now we have slightly cooler leads that have come through. They're interested. They want a quote. They have not given you that qualification of they're okay with the price bracket. So you can either automate them and bring them back through a ROOFLE, or you can have your sales reps work them in a more traditional manner. I really like it.
Yeah, 100%. And Alex, did you have anything to add on that part with the sales teams?
For sales teams, I just want to talk to about the roofer mentality. So the roofers mentality. Being a roofer for a long time. I was always thinking, hey, let's do a good job and hope people got to notice us. Let's have a great truck, wrap the truck. Put the guys in a great looking uniforms and things of that nature. All those things are great for branding, but what I realized is when we stopped actually chasing the storm jobs, and we decided, hey, let's go ahead and establish ourselves, as a one of the prominent companies in our area, that it's not the best who wins, but the loudest who wins, right? So you have to be loud as a company. You have to be loud. There's a reason why household names like Coca-Cola, they spend billions of dollars on advertising, even though everybody knows the brand. It's all about keeping the thing from. So when we came up with that dilemma, we're like, well, how do we differentiate ourselves? And natural progression was, well, let's go ahead and get this organized. I called, my buddy Nick. I said, hey, Nick, please help me out, man. I'm drowning here. And Nick came in, saved the day, and we started doing so well. I said, you know what? It's not fair that we're doing so well and the other people are struggling. Let's go ahead and take this out to it. So for the guys out there who's maybe listening to this right now and thinking, I have a ROOFLE. It's a great tool. You guys build absolutely amazing platform, but there's a traffic needs to be driven into it. So and we come in. That's why we have a partnership. We come in. Our company will come in and organize things and make it a lot easier. We can actually take some of the guys maybe who's listening, some of the companies who has like a 1 or 2 man operation, and we can make them look like a strong, huge company, and literally even take over all of their marketing and automate things, and they don't even have to sweat about it a whole lot. That's where we excel at. So that's what I had to add. Since you were asking.
Yeah, and I like to jump onto that because we have conversations with contractors on a regular basis because we sell ROOFLE, and here in a minute we're going to do a quick demo of what exactly ROOFLE is for anyone who's on this call and isn't familiar with us. But we sell ROOFLE, a lead generation tool that sits on your website. If your website doesn't get any traffic, the lead generation tool is not going to do a whole lot for you because there's no traffic there. So it requires traffic to your website. However, you're already getting that, if it's organic or if it's marketed. But either way, you've got to get traffic to your website if you want to grow digitally. And a lot of people are wondering about the overall cost of, hey, taking on a marketing plan, hiring out a marketing company versus hiring somebody inside on staff who can take care of your marketing, getting a marketing professional. And what a lot of times it comes down to is it might end up at nearly the same cost. A salary for a marketing professional plus the ads that you have to pay for versus the cost of bringing a third-party marketing team in to work with you hands-on, take care of that marketing aspect, and it's not another individual employee that you need to have on your team. Not necessarily to say you should get rid of your marketers or that you shouldn't hire marketers, but it might be a solution for some people that don't maybe have the capacity to bring on a full employee. Maybe it's easier to sub that out to a team that can come in and help you out with it.
I was going to even say about the follow-up process. So we do have people who are manually doing that, but being able to do AI with that. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell us a big difference between somebody who had, hired you that was doing it themselves, and then the benefit of having the AI follow-up piece.
Right, definitely. So, we come into a lot of companies that already have ROOFLE or similar softwares, right? And what we find is, again, that conversion rate might be, maybe they're getting 1 to 5 leads in ROOFLE a month, which is more than they had before, right? But if you're not able to drive enough traffic to your website, or you're not seeing enough leads come in there, once we set this up, and it's not a long process because we've got this down to a science, right? We'll guarantee leads within 48 hours. There is a ramp up period over the first week or two as we get your, AI dialed in and the algorithms around it. But once that's in place, this is consistent, repeatable, where we will, especially if you're in a winter market, especially during the busy season, but even in the winter season, we'll still bring in leads, right? So if you want something to kick off your spring with, you've already got leads coming in then as well. But definitely, if we bring in 100 leads in a month, we expect, and we have benchmarks that show we'll see at least 20 to 40 of those leads go through ROOFLE per month.
Perfect. I love it
as well. From the being in sales, so that the sales guys are great at first contact, but horrible on follow-ups. They just don't like it. Reason why, because just the way our brains, I think, is wired. We want to go and meet new people, and we think we are best closer in the world. Let's get it more. And then we kind of forget about people who said maybe or no, even. And statistically saying, you need to contact them at least 7-8 times even for them to remember who you are or get a yes. You need to get no's, and people don't like to hear no's. They want to deal with no's, and therefore they don't follow up. The best they do, they'll follow up maybe 2-3 times, some sort of quick message. If they remember even about to do that, with AI, Courtney, you were asking about the benefit, right? AI is a think about AI as a dude who never forget things. It's like your wife on steroids. All right. So that thing doesn't forget a thing, right? So once it's set up, it's gonna do all of these follow-ups relentlessly all the time. And the only way to get away from the AI is to say, hey, literally stop sending me messages, man. Like there's a stop button that we put out there, but that thing will follow up and rehash those leads over and over and over. And the lead acquisition cost is actually going to drive down by just doing that. It's absolutely amazing. So that's what we saw from our end, and that's what we did for our clients as well.
Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of automation in that it gives you that guaranteed nobody gets left behind, nobody falls through the cracks. Because we have some contractors who are really dialed in on their automations and on their lead generation and conversion will know that their leads require a certain amount of touches and they require a certain amount of time. Of some contractors can tell you they know it like the back of their hand. We have a 28-day turnover rate. It typically takes from lead acquisition to signed contract, typically takes 28 days and typically takes 7 touches. The initial first contact, you get that that instant quote, and then you have that automatic reminder. The second that instant quote comes in, an introduction with an opportunity to reach out and speak to a human being, and then a continual drip campaign of several more touches to finally get them to close the door. It's surprising. We always think about an on-site close. We think about a follow-up call to close the deal, but a lot of times it is a slightly longer period. Maybe it's a 3-week period for your company. Maybe it's a 2-week period. Maybe you've just got the best closer in the country and they're just out there knocking out deals on the same day. But for the most part, it's going to be several touches. And if it requires several touches, a human can forget 2 or 3 of those. The AI, like Alex said, AI is never going to forget.
Right. And one final note on AI around phone calls, right? Because that's kind of one of the new technologies that's coming out. One of the reasons we want to help roofers get those systems in place is we can actually set up those AI systems to call your leads. And it's getting very sophisticated. It's getting to the point where they are getting contracts signed on these phone calls with an AI agent. And we're at the stage right now where we use AI agents to book appointments for us through phone calls with AI technology. Right now, it's active. We get those every single day. So this is evolving. It's not for everybody. Some people want to keep that humanistic touch, but for people who are scaling or interested in that type of a system, the rules were changed recently. And just so people are clear on this, you just can't use it for cold calling or for non-opt-in leads, right? So as soon as we get the opt-in, which all of our leads are, and then we're making sure all your website leads are, you can use AI phone technology to follow up with them throughout the process.
Excellent. Such a nice note. And now if you guys want to see this test it out yourselves, you can go ahead and schedule an appointment and let AI Tycoons AI scheduler give you a call and see how it feels and see how you like it before
Bingo.
you go and pass it on to your own customers. Great. I want to pause this for just one moment, and I do want to show just an example of the instant quote tool for anyone who might not be familiar with ROOFLE, who maybe hasn't had a demo of our technology yet. I do want to show that so they know. We've referenced it several times at this point. I want them to know what we're talking about if they're unfamiliar. Courtney, do you mind buzzing that up?
Nope, not at all.
All right. Yeah, it's always showing someone the instant quote tool for the first time is always my favorite. I'm kind of bummed I can't see anybody's reaction because the very first time that a roofer sees this, if they've never seen it before, never seen anything like it, is absolutely priceless. I love it. They usually will give me their own home address and I get to throw in their house so they know the squares, they know exactly what to expect, and they see it come through. All right. So our tool is built directly into your website. So it shows up as a what will my roof cost. Everything that you see on this besides the tool itself and how it functions is pretty customizable. So you can adjust the look, the feel, the color, make it really fit to what you are trying to present. Your customer comes into your website, they throw in their address, and they will immediately be brought up an overhead view of their property with their roof outlined for them. They can remove an additional roof or they can leave it on. They can redraw any of these roofs if they want to, just by clicking that edit button, and then they can kind of drag these around. They can move them. They can cut off a section if maybe a part of their house is an addition that doesn't need a new roof. They have full capability of that. And then they save those changes whenever they're ready, or they don't even touch it if they like how it looks as it is. And then they save those changes. They scroll down and they see their price. This is where we would go ahead and start collecting their information. We would collect all of that lead info. So hopefully they've seen your website or they've seen your ad. They're coming here because they do need a roof or they're expecting to need a roof. So they come in, they've seen the overhead view of their property. They're happy to give you their information because they know, great, you've already got my roof. You know exactly where it is. I trust this process. I can see it clearly. So we hit this show my price and we let our demo portal reload. And here it is. You will have the products that you choose to select and present to your customers opened out here. You can have their price shown as a solid price or as a range. You show them what's included with that project and that roof installation. You show them what could be an additional cost that wasn't picked up in the instant quote. So maybe they've got a chimney that we didn't catch or a skylight that you need to flash. And then the thing that I'm personally most excited about, we show their finance options that you have attached to this product. We show them what they can expect to find if they apply for financing, and we give them the option to get pre-approved for financing before you ever talk to them. So when you get a lead that comes through your instant quote tool, you're not just getting contact information and you know this person wants a quote on their roof. You are getting a ballpark price of what that customer saw. You are getting the understanding that they gave you all of their information so they could see that price and they still are interested, meaning that price is okay. They're comfortable with that. They're ready for a sales rep to show up at their house and speak about that price point and that ticket for their roof. So you are getting a far more developed lead. And then from here, if your sales reps are extremely busy, if you're just slammed this day, if you have your AI automation built in, you can go ahead and have them contacted for you and go ahead and have their appointments scheduled. It is a very, very powerful tool. It is cutting edge. We are extremely proud of it, and we are building and adding onto it weekly, daily, monthly. Basically, any time that you can think about it, we've got somebody in the background working on this thing. We are trying to stay at the very bleeding edge of roofing technology and make sure that we are servicing our contractors. We take a ton of feedback into account, and we make sure to update everyone on what that feedback is going to get them as far as when a new update is coming that will be solving an issue that they had or giving them a better solution than they had before. Anything to add there, Courtney? Sorry, I got on a little bit of a tear.
No, I actually
really
don't have
enjoyed talking
anything to
about
add.
this.
I just was showing like the different processes
Oh, yeah.
that customer experience can go through. So if anybody has any questions or wants any assistance kind of making these product cards really accentuate the experience that you guys want to go through, please reach out, help@roofle.com.
Absolutely. And for one more notice that this tool is built into your website. So at no point are they leaving your website. They stay at your house the entire time. They're not walking away to another place to give us all their information. The leads go directly to you. We are not collecting those and selling those. They are completely exclusive. If someone puts their information into your ROOFLE tool, you are the only person that has those unless they went off to somewhere else and gave them their information themselves. We're not transferring that anywhere. So you're getting a lead who comes in qualified, price qualified, comfortable with that price, and potentially even scheduling an appointment, telling you when they want to come out and talk about it.
And then the other thing that I just wanted to mention is this is completely white labeled. You're not going to see ROOFLE being branded on your website. All of these products cards are completely customizable to you. So you guys can offer services and the products that you guys offer. So I just wanted to kind of showcase some of these additional services that people are trying to put on. And you can, again, change these every single day or seasonally, things like that.
And
Perfect.
Courtney, if I could really quick, one thing that we commonly see too right now is the roof rejuvenation as a downsell. Because if you're offering that type of product in your roofing company, you have a natural downsell there for people who just are sticker shocked, right? But still want or really need something for their roof now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great for a resale if somebody's getting ready to sell their home, or if you've got a real estate agent or a flipper in your area who's trying to flip homes and just trying to get them sellable. Roof rejuvenation could be the solution for that. Excellent.
Thank you so much.
I do want to encourage everyone to throw any kind of questions that they have into the chat. We would be more than happy to address anything. If you've got marketing questions about ROOFLE, about AI Tycoons, I do want to leave it open here for a minute and make sure everybody has the opportunity to chime in and get any kind of information that they need. As we kind of give everybody the opportunity to do that, Nick and Alex, do y'all mind giving just kind of a one last final, if you really wanted a roofer to know the absolute most essential information about the modern state of digital marketing, what would you want that roofer to know? What would you want them to be equipped with? What would you want them to be putting their focus into in digital marketing?
Absolutely. And I think, this slide where we've got here, the future of AI, is actually going to cover a lot of those points perfectly. But it's such a great question because the industry is evolving, right? We see there's a 3 to 5 year period here where AI is going to so revolutionize things. I mean, people who are following what OpenAI just released, it's like it blows Siri out of the water. They're like, Siri's dead, right? Because because of what AI is able to do right now. That's today, right? But what we really see with AI systems, and I think it's important to point out, is how much this is going to be a boon for small businesses, right? This used to be unreachable technology that banks and, car companies would have, but this is now a sophisticated conversational system that small businesses can utilize and bring into their markets today. And so really, again, if you think back to everything we've covered today, the sooner you capitalize on getting these pieces in place, you're going to be able to, capitalize on those leads, market to those leads with AI systems as you get them set up, and they're only going to evolve and get better, right? So if you think about it like this, a lot of roofing companies don't understand this. When we sit down and talk to them, and I'll say, hey, how many past clients have you worked with over the last 5-10 years? And how many names, emails, phone numbers do you have? They're like, well, I got 10,000 names on a list right now in my CRM system. And I'm going, do you know how much that alone is worth, and how much that's worth on the open market? That if you wanted to sell your roofing company, that would go into the equation, that you have a customer base that can be remarketed to, right? And so it's the same thing with AI. When you bring in an AI system, you can start remarketing to past customers, feed the data into the systems to get more customers just like that. And again, these systems are only going to continue to improve.
If I might add, for our friends in the roofing business, so we're gonna let the cat out of the bag a little bit. So we are working on a system where, and I apologize for any sales guys out there, the AI eventually will take over the day-to-day operation of the salesperson. So it's inevitable. It will come. So a company like ours will be pulling those things in the market, and that's what's going to be. We did test piloted program like that, and we sold a few roofs without even ever seeing the homeowner physically. The crew showed up with the pre-choice colors and all that stuff. The documents were signed digitally. The crew just showed up, banged out the roof, sent them this certificate of completion, and they were just ecstatic. So things are changing. The most of the people right now, this is where we used to shop. This is my cell phone. So you can order actually a car on your cell phone. I'm not sure if you guys knew that or not. So, and people want things yesterday, right? So in order to keep up with that demand, the industry will have to evolve, and whoever doesn't evolve will be left behind. It'll be same thing happened with the fax machines. Everybody had them and nobody has them now. So that's what's happening. So we are helping companies to stay put with the technology, and the technology is evolving by minute. It's just unbelievable. So it's very important to have a partner like ours. It's not like we're just trying to toot our horns, but it is what it is. And the companies like ROOFLE, so they realize it, like, well, should people going to be shopping everything online, and therefore let's bring a tool there. And our company realized, hey, we need to connect the homeowners with the tools that they have. So that's what we're going to do. And that's why it's important to have a partner like AI Tycoon, or being a part with the technology. It's imperative. If you guys don't do it, and soon enough it'll be it's going to be one of the dinosaurs in the industry, who still does door knocking. It is what it is. That's what's coming. Thanks.
Yeah, we're moving to a more and more remote world and more digital. Sorry, Courtney, go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention too, as a sales rep or anything, like the follow-up part of the process is the one that tends to be either the hardest, or it tends to be the one that, most people, you have to cut out time for. So can you imagine the amount of time you can allow yourself to sell and not waste your time on following up and allowing something to do it for you? I feel like that's just incredible.
Yeah. And a common thing we hear a lot too, just in general, what are people saying about AI? I don't know if
I got cut out. Sorry, guys.
No, you're great. What we hear a lot of people saying is, well, AI is never going to be able to do it better, or there's always going to be this human involvement. And don't get me wrong, we're still going to be humans. We're still going to have a human touch to things. But I think a lot of those people are in denial, or just oblivious to what is actually happening in the AI world now. And that's why we come in with an informational approach to say, this is what's here today, and this is what's inevitably coming. And honestly, there's even more than that. Like, guys, just to throw this out there, I actually as a hobby, I make music, right? And so I started making music in 2020. Went into band labs and just some different softwares there, had some fun, making some beats and doing some things. I can now make radio ready songs in a day with the AI systems that are out there repeatedly. And Alex has heard it. He knows. That's why he's laughing.
Really good stuff.
It's beyond radio ready. It's beyond some of the stuff you'll hear from other artists. And that's just what I do in my fun time. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the amount of capability that comes into play when you have what comes down to being practically free labor, doing all kinds of different jobs for you. I mean, you get an AI system put in place. It can follow up with 1,000 leads. It can follow up with 10,000 leads. It can follow up with 2 leads. It doesn't matter. It's just a machine. It's doing the same thing over and over again. You don't have to pay it for the hours. You just pay it for existing. You don't have to pay for the hours it spends doing all of that time for you. So we're not getting any questions coming through. So I do want to kind of wrap it and be respectful of everybody's time. Nick, Alex, Courtney, do we have anything else that we want to leave folks with?
After the session, we're going to bring you right to AI Tycoons landing page. So if you guys are interested in booking a demo, it should be very easy. Otherwise, you can see that Justice included a link as well. So if you guys are interested in doing anything like this and hearing more, please reach out to them.
Yeah, and even if you guys, when you go to the demo link, if you just want to have like a strategy or an audit, just put that in the notes. There's going to be a notes section for our calendar slots. And we'll just look at what you have now, and even just if we point you in the right direction, that's what we're here for. We're a resource, so feel free to take advantage of that, and we'll definitely dive into bigger strategies and the different packages we have. But absolutely,
I'll say something too. So for the fear of losing money, the fear of losing money, it might keep some of the roofing companies away from getting into it. It's actually, if you don't get into it, not necessarily with us, I'm just saying in AI world, it's going to cost a lot more in their lost revenue. So please go ahead and take the opportunity. Let's talk. We'll
Absolutely. Yep. You'll be redirected over. And if not, AITycoonsmedia.com, or you can just Google AI Tycoons and they will pop right up. Believe it or not, they've got their SEO dialed in pretty well. But y'all, we will leave it at that. We've got a couple more episodes coming over the course of this summer that are going to be very exciting. We're really stoked about it. As always, you can find us at win.roofle.com. You'll be able to schedule meetings, schedule planning sessions, anything that you need roofle-wise, win.roofle.com. Otherwise, AITycoonsmedia.com. Thanks so much for joining us. We will catch you next time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.